Hey everybody, this is Sarah Harnish. I'm a Young Living Diamond and I'm the author of the Game Plan book, which is the complete strategy guide to go from starter kit to silver. But that's not what we're training on tonight. We're training on Ignite, and this is only day 2 of our Ignite Bootcamp. If you don't have this book yet, you got plenty of time to snag it and get it into your hands. It's called The Essential Game Plan, Ignite Your Business in 2 hours. Thank you for giving up some time and hanging with me this evening. I figured that this shirt was super appropriate for tonight. It says Got Ningxia. Because most of you guys know exactly what's been going on in my life for the last almost 48 hours. Not quite, but almost 48 hours. It's been really crazy as I've been trying to finish up Unstuck at the same time that we've been launching our Ignite Bootcamp. So a lot on my plate, but it's okay. I'm really excited to announce that I'm working on the conclusion tonight. I'm at the very end of the book, and we have made the cutoff for convention. So by the skin of our teeth, it's like a 48-hour marathon, but we will have Ignite at convention. So I'm very psyched about that. If you want to find it, you're going to have to come to Aroma Sharing. It's an Aroma Sharing exclusive release, and we will probably sell it on Tuesday. So I'm going to try to hold a few of them back for Wednesday goers, but try to come Wednesday morning if you can, because it's going to go really fast. All right. That book I've been working on for 2 years. 2 years. So if you think a book is fast, it is not fast. Even when you're self-publishing it, it is absolutely not fast to get something printed. But it was very heavy on my heart that we had something that took a step back and helped people that could not make that connection to get people to class. So constant no-shows, handing out samples, not leading to any kit sales, zero OGB or star OGB, or they hit silver and they slide back to executive and they stayed executive for a couple of years and they're super frustrated and not sure that network marketing works. This book is for you. Oh yeah, you guys like it? Got Ningxia. See? I don't even know how much Ningxia I've drunk at this point. I shouldn't be standing up. I think I'm close to 7 bottles since I started the writing 3 days ago. And kind of funny, about every 6 hours, another member of my team shows up at my door with a whole case of nitro. So just today, just in the last 12 hours, I've had 3 leaders come by with another full unopened thing of nitro. So I was like, well, hey, if I got it, I might as well drink it, right? It's going to keep me going for the whole writing period. So, all right, I promised you guys I would open every single day with an oil of the night. And because we're going to be talking about teaching classes tonight, this is chapter 1 in the book. It just takes off from the get-go. Ignite is a very compressed book, and it's meant to not be overwhelming to your new leaders. They're not supposed to read it and be like, whoa, okay, it's a very different kind of book. It's interesting that Ignite and Unstuck are launching so close together, because Unstuck is like the complete opposite of Ignite. Total opposite. It is thorough. It is well researched. Like, if you needed an idea on how to talk to people, it's probably in that book. It's over 300 pages, so it is a big dog, and very thorough. And so Ignite is the opposite of the big dog. It's meant to be handed to people that aren't really sure they want to build the business. They got their toe in the water. Maybe they've seen people have success at it. Maybe they've tried other network marketing companies and it just hasn't worked very well for them. And they're a little overloaded. They don't have a lot of time. So that's what this is all about. So Ellen says, I can't believe you're still okay. I'm okay because of your guys' prayers. I'm okay because the Holy Spirit's just been lifting my arms for the last 2 days, and I'm doing all right. I got a bit of a sloppy ponytail, and I'm training you guys in a t-shirt tonight, but I don't think anybody cares. Right? Nobody cares. So let's talk about gathering for just a minute. This is an oil I've actually been using to write Unstuck. The Lord gave me a couple of oils that I needed to have on my body when I was writing that book. Frankincense is always one of my go-tos. So I had Frank on. I put it in the medulla, the back of my head. It's a kind of a soft spot between the left and right side of your head, right above your brainstem. And I've been wearing Inspiration right on my forehead, and then also on the crown of my head. Crown of your head isn't the top of your head; it's actually just slightly back. So it's like if you were to put a cap on your head and would slide back a little bit. That's what the crown is. So I've been putting Inspiration in that place, and I've been using a lot of Gathering and 3 Wise Men to write that book. So I wanted the book to be a download from God. just like Game Plan was for me, and so I use 3 Wise Men because that's the oil that contains the blends that were given to Jesus when he was born. And I just want to make sure that those words are his words. That's a really good download. So I was using that to release some of me and get a little bit more of him in the book, that he gets the praise and the glory for all of the work that we're doing. Now, gathering, this one I've been wearing too, and I'm not usually drawn to this one. This one I always joke around with my husband. It's a really good introvert oil. So like if you're married to an extrovert, I'm the extrovert and my husband's not. If you're married to an extrovert, they like to bring like humans to the house. And sometimes they knock on the door and they come inside the house. Matter of fact, I've had many humans here today, like a lot of humans have stopped in. My team stopped in, my assistant's been here, and our business manager was here for 6 hours today, and our little granddaughter Nugget is running all over the place. And of course we have our children, and there's a lot of them, so they're all over the house. And my poor introverted husband, he doesn't really get a lot of reprieve. And so this is a really good oil for him, especially like Thanksgiving. Even if you're extroverted, Thanksgiving can be kind of overload. Gathering is a really, really good oil for that. 3 Wise Men, I like to say to me, it's the number 1 emotional release oil. I actually like 3 Wise Men better than Release, Inner Child, and Sarah. That's saying a lot, but I've done a lot of raindrops on people, and I've done a lot of emotional release on people, and I just see cooler things with 3 Wise Men. So I don't know. I think it just stirs the spirit. It's got that myrrh in it and frankincense, and I call them the Jesus oils. So just awesome. So let's talk about gathering for just a second, and why you would want to wear gathering when you're teaching a class. Like, what would the point of that be? Well, I looked through the individual oils, and one of the things that gathering is known for is abundance. It's an oil that just draws really good things to you. You want good things drawn to you when you're teaching a one-on-one class, right? It's the oil of boredom. I hope you're not bored during your one-on-one classes, but maybe the people around you, if you read like this, might be a little bit bored, right? And they can smell it. It's also really good for concentration. Very, very good oil for just focusing and getting through the lecture and paying attention to what you're saying. So I'm actually going to smell some of this right now because I want to make sure I'm all here for you guys, because I'm going, let's see, in 1 hour it'll be 48 straight hours of writing. Oh, that smells so good right now. It's just like peace from the top of my head all the way down. If you have some gathering, get some of this on your body and just get it in your nose. Get it in the limbic lobe of your brain. It's such a good oil. It's the oil of confusion. So it helps if you're just kind of scatterbrained and you can't focus, thinking clearly, right? Articulating your thoughts, putting them in order. Really good writing oil. Daydreaming, clocking out. It's a good despair oil. So if you just feel stuck, if you feel like you're in a rut and you don't feel like you've got a lot of hope, it's the oil of disappointment. All right, maybe you're frustrated that you have a no-show class, or maybe you really wanted a good friend of yours to come and she's told you like 4 times she'd be at the class, and then the class starts and she's not there. And so you've just got the sadness and disappointment, right? God's not going to waste any of your minutes, but you're sad because you really wanted your friend to be there. And so gathering is a really good oil for that. It's good for emotional forgetfulness. You forget things that are really, really important. It's good for fear, which makes it a really good 101 oil, because I'm extroverted and I still get scared when I teach classes. I still get butterflies before I go up. So very good for that. Frustration. If you lose your spot while you're teaching, or somebody's not paying attention, they're sitting on their cell phone and clocking you out. Really good for that. Guilt. If you go into your classes and you're feeling guilty, maybe you get a little free time today that your family didn't get, or you're feeling bad about some words that you said to somebody else. Having an open mind. I think sometimes we bring a lot of stuff into our classes where we're like, you know what, nobody's going to get the kit. And if they do, they're going to get just the kit and then they're going to drop off. Or maybe they'll get, a bottle of Thieves Cleaner and they're not even going to hit the 190 PV. They're probably not going to sign up for Central Rewards. You don't want to have those thoughts when you start your class, because you're bringing all that with you and you've got this nice front between you and the person that is sitting there listening to your lecture. So you put a little gathering on, it kind of clears some of that from your space. So you're not thinking all the bad things. Just sort of sets those thoughts aside so that you can focus on the task at hand, which in this case is teaching a class, right? It's the oil of potential. I love this. I don't know. I breathe it in and I step back and I'm like, what if? What if? You ever get to a place where you forget to dream big dreams? right? You don't really know what God can see and what he's got in store for you. And you just kind of get to this place where you're like, I'm just like we talked last night, just going through the motions. This is the oil that says, hey, wake up. The God that created the universe by speaking, right? He's like your God. And he says, for I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, right? Plans to prosper you, plans for a hope and a future. And it doesn't mean that you're going to get rich immediately and it's some quick get rich quick scheme. I told you Unstuck is 300 pages. Okay. That's a lot of work. It's a lot of thinking and a lot of action that you have to take. It's not a fast thing, but it does kind of get you to pause and say, what if I went all the way to Royal? Like what if that happened? What if I hit diamond? What if I hit silver this summer? Like, what would that look like? There's nothing wrong with dreaming and setting goals. You don't have a goal, then you're not going to move towards it because you haven't articulated it. You're not thinking about it. And you're not, doing the actions that are going to get you toward that goal. So I love that. The oil of potential, the oil of restlessness, right? Like, God, when is it going to happen? When's it going to hit? When am I going to have my rank? How come things just don't move at the pace that I want them to move? And maybe I'm just not very good at this. And just that oil of, ready for change, but change isn't here yet. Gathering. That's a really good oil. And it's really good for stress and for clarity. So I don't know about you, but I am pretty stressed when I'm teaching my 101 classes. So it is, Sue says, I love gathering. To me, it's a peaceful feeling. Yeah. It's just like breathing in peace and then breathing it all back out again. So you can open up your starter kit and you can get stress way out and breathe that in, and that'll have a beautiful effect on your body as well. And you can breathe a little lemon in, and the lavender will kind of calm your nerves down a little bit. But gathering, gathering is a good oil for teaching. It's just amazing, right? Bridget says, honestly, I gave up a little, but there's a lot going on that set me back. You know what, Bridget? The cool thing about Young Living is that's all right. Like, it's okay if you give up for a little bit. But if you give up forever, right? If you fall off the horse and you stay on the ground and that horse backs up over you, you're not going to get to diamond then, right? So you got to ask yourself, how long am I willing to lay on the ground? Like, you can have a lot of stuff happen, but how long are you willing to lay down there? You guys know we were in the GLC in Alaska, 3 days ago. And then 6 hours before we left for the GLC, my son got married. So it was kind of crazy. We had to see him off on his honeymoon, everything. And then 48 hours before that, my second and third born son and daughter graduated high school. And we had this big graduation party for them. And then the couple days leading up to that, I was in mommy sadness mode, just watching the last book we were going to read together and as curriculum, and the last this and the last that, because I'd homeschooled them since they were 3 years old, right? And it's just a changing of the guard year for us. So look out over these last 2 weeks, and it's like, okay, we just crammed a whole lot of life in these last couple of weeks with the ending of something we've done for 16 years, and moving on to big adult things, and then the cap and gown ceremony, and our house filled with people, and the end of that era, and then my son getting married and getting a new daughter. I was so excited about all that stuff that I got in the GLC to Alaska in 50-degree weather with high winds with no jacket. So I just did a 10-day cruise in Alaska without a jacket. I get cold really easily. But what did I do when I was on the boat? I mentored my leaders. We did rank mapping sessions. We did coaching. I taught them raindrop. We met as a bigger team with my upline diamond, and we had some really good training. We sat in with Mary Young. We learned the compensation plan. We handed out purple bags. We prospect people on the ship. I wrote half of Unstuck on the way home, and then we launched a new book, and we did Ignite, and we're doing Ignite Bootcamp right now and finishing Unstuck and getting that thing. We got convention in a few weeks. Man, you can have a lot going on, but you still got to have your eye on the business, or the business doesn't happen, right? It doesn't happen. It doesn't mean that the business has to own you, but you got to dictate. Only you can dictate how long you're going to lay on the ground, right? Gathering grabs my attention too. What is this you're wearing? It smells wonderful. It's so true. Oh, it's so true. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to open up the essential game plan, which is Ignite Your Business in 2 hours. If you don't have a copy of this yet, it is up on Amazon. So you can go there and go snag it. It's $7. It's not going to break the bank. This isn't a really, really big book. It's little. And I'm really excited to say that we did get permission from our publisher to release it in bulk before convention. So it won't be before boot camp's over, but before convention. So stay tuned, and I'll give you guys a date on when that's going to happen. It's pretty exciting. Tonight, though, we're going to focus on chapter 1, which I think is one of the most important chapters in the entire book, because if you cannot get through the task of sharing with other human beings, it's really hard to do network marketing, because the entire job that we do, everything we do, centers around relationship, right? It doesn't matter what type of class you're teaching, it still is centered around the act of relationship. So this chapter is called Script Kit Human. That's pretty much my entire business and your entire business, all in 3 words, right? If you can master Script Kit Human, you pretty much got this thing nailed. So you need something to share in front of them. You need a kit to show them what they're getting. And then you need a human that is not on your team yet. And so you start with those 3 things, and it's a perfect recipe for growing your team. Because Young Living is a lifestyle. It's a lot more than just getting your starter kit. And when you catch the vision of where this goes, it's going to change everything about how you care for your family. And I know that you're never going to look back. Not ever, right? Not ever. You don't use thieves cleaner and then go back to your pledge, right? And your air fresheners and your plugins and your candles are all going to start giving you headaches when your body realizes it's not supposed to be in your home. You can't use oils to band-aid a lifestyle decision, but you can take small steps to start rethinking some of the products in your home, like cleaning supplies, your thieves cleaner and Coolazole pain cream and thieves cough drops and a Lang Lang acne, our Young Living acne treatment and the mineral sunscreen lotion, and using your thieves toothpaste, like your personal care products, or einkorn flakes. You guys haven't had that einkorn cereal? It is really good. Ningxia wolfberry juice, right? Ningxia, I told you, I think I'm on my 7th bottle in the last 3 days. It's pretty legit. And then supplements like Super C. I mean, I believe in Ningxia so much that I wear shirts that say Ningxia, because Ningxia is on my mind all the time, right? Especially when I'm writing a book, right? And so it might seem kind of overwhelming to look at all the different things that you can swap out. I mean, there's 600 different products that Young Living has, right? But it's a process. I mean, it took 12 years for me to start swapping every single thing out in my cabinets. And it started with 24 years of migraines and brain bleeds until I decided that I was going to change my diet. So I don't know how many of you guys in here have suffered from a migraine headache before. Give me a whole bunch of high fives if you're one of the migraine sufferers, because my heart just absolutely breaks for you. I had my first migraine when I was 12 years old, and then they started coming monthly, and by the time I was 20 years old, they were just absolutely debilitating. And with each kid that I had, they got worse and worse and worse. So I had been to 13 different neurologists, and I've been on 16 families of migraine medicine over a period of 24 years. And we tried everything. I mean, I did food journals. I cut out caffeine and chocolate. I cut out MSG, Chinese food. They were trying to look for stressors and what was triggering the migraines. They couldn't figure it out. Because when I would get one, the right side of my face would droop, and I would get weak on my right side. So if I went and grabbed some books, I would drop them on my right side. I couldn't hold from both sides of my body. I have to hold things on my left side. And then when the migraine came, I would just start tremoring. My body responded to the intense pain by shaking. And so most days I would end up, in bed, grabbing my knees, rolling, writhing side to side. My kids have a lot of memories of no mom being there, because I would get these things and I'd be in bed for 3 or 4 days. I would come home from work and I'd go right into bed, bedroom doors shut. They have to be really quiet. It was really, really painful. I lived like that for over 2 decades. That is a really long time to lose 10 days a month every single month. And, I would have loved to have had something that band-aided the migraines, but I also want to figure out what was going on. And so the last neurologist that I saw, he sent me in for an MRI, and what he found was that there were little pinprick brain bleeds happening on the surface of my brain. I had blood vessels, and they would swell and they'd push against my skull, and it would cause these little tiny leaks, these little tiny bleeds. The blood would pool between my skull and my brain. and it was forming dead tissue on the surface of my brain. So each year I would go in and I would get another MRI, and they would compare the MRIs, and they were finding that I had more and more and more spots on my brain, about 30 to 40 new spots every single year. And this is after several years of getting MRIs done, my yearly MRI. And so finally the neurologist said, Sarah, we got to do something to stop the swelling. You're at very, very high risk of catastrophic stroke. You're 30 years old. Your kids are 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. So you have the stroke, like, you're going to watch your kids grow up and you're not going to be able to communicate with them. You're going to see them, but you won't be able to talk to them or partake in their raising. And, that would be really bad. So I would like you to go on these 6 medications. And he gave me something for the swelling, and he gave me something for the nausea and something for the pain. And he gave me some vitamins and he gave me steroid. And I went home and I looked at all of the medicine. It was honestly the very first time in my life where I flipped something over and I looked at the label. And I thought to myself, man, this stuff doesn't look very good. Like, I don't know if I should be taking this. And the warning just for the steroid was 2.5 pages long. 2.5 pages. I was born with a bad heart. So I've got a level 5 heart murmur, which means my heart beats kind of funky. And then I have a tricuspid regurgitation. You got 2 big valves in your heart. One of them is the one that causes the heart attacks. That's your mitral valve. That's not my valve that's damaged. Mine's on the other side, which is the tricuspid, but it backflows. And so I get leakage and stuff in my heart. And so I'm looking at this steroid, and one of the number one warnings on it was that it caused heart damage. So I went back and I was like, listen, like, I already don't have the greatest ticker right now as it is. I'm a little nervous about taking this medicine that is going to damage my heart. It's what it says. And I have to be on this long term. There's no like end date. It's not like I'm on this for 10 days or something. And he said, Sarah, if you have a heart attack, then you're gone. He said, if you have a stroke, you're going to watch your kids grow up and you're not going to be able to be part of their lives. You're going to see it all. You're going to understand what's going on, but you will never be able to partake in the raising of your children. And to me, that would be worse. I remember looking at him and I'm like, who are you to make that decision for me? That's my decision to make if I want to be there to watch my children, even if I can't communicate with them. And so I remember walking out of his office just feeling really disenchanted. And I talked to my husband. I said, you know what? I'm going to cure these things. I've had them for 24 years. I'm going to figure out what's causing them, and I'm going to cure the migraines. He says, Sarah, you've been to 13 neurologists in 5 states now. Nobody's been able to cure it yet. You think you know more than these guys do? And I said, well, no, I don't know anything about medicine, but there's got to be somebody out there who's been cured of migraines. And I've got a background as a news anchor, and I research. I know how to look things up, and I know how to research. And so I'm going to find that person that cured it. I'm going to figure out what they did, and I'm going to copy it. And so I did. I started using my news background, and for months and months and months, I was researching. And a friend of mine suggested a diet called the GAPS diet, which was written by a neurologist named Natasha Campbell McBride, who found in her office that when she had kids that had ADHD or autism, that whenever they came into her office, they always had something digestive going on, whether it was food allergies or eczema or Crohn's or, IBS, celiac. They always had something going on with their gut. And she said, I wonder if there's a connection between the gut and the head, if those two things are interrelated. And so she started removing foods that would instigate the gut to see if it would help the head. And she removed sugar, gluten, and dairy out of these kids' diets. And it was unbelievable how much they improved, like incredible. And so she designed a diet called the GAPS diet, where you are on a really heavy probiotic. It's going to be the good soldiers in your gut that eat all the bad guys that eat the lining of your gut, which causes leaky gut syndrome. And then you eat fermented foods, so you're pulling the nutrients out of what you're eating. And then you have no sugar, gluten, and dairy. In my opinion, it is like the most masochistic diet on the earth. It's crazy. But the first month that I went on it, I didn't have any pain. It's the first time in 2 decades I didn't have any pain. And the second month that I was on it, I didn't have that drooping in my face or the weakness on my right side, and I didn't have any pain. And January 18th is 8 years since I had my last migraine headache. I completely got rid of it just with food. And so I'm sitting there and I'm eating this really, really good food. And I look up, and on the counter, I see my bright blue dish soap. And I look under my cabinets and I see my surface counter that I wipe everything down with that says poison, do not consume. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, there's a double standard in our house between the way that we eat and every product that we use. And so I was in that place when I got invited in my first essential oils class. So I was kind of open to what oils were and to swapping things out. I thought the starter kit was way too expensive, and I did think the oil was snake oil, but I like Thieves Cleaner. We made some at my very first class. And I went home, and it took the person who signed me 7 times for me to get the kit. She asked every single week for 7 weeks until I finally said yes to getting that kit, right? So your task in this entire process is to train people how to start the simple swap, how to feel convicted over the chemicals in their home, on their counters, and say, you know what? I don't know. I wonder if there's a link, right? For me, it was the food that I was eating that damaged my gut lining, that made me that sick by the time that I was 20 years old. And so your task is to train these guys to start swapping some of these things out every single month for Young Living products. Michelle says you're a paid spokesperson for Young Living. Michelle, I'm a mom of 5 kids. They're amazing kids. They're 20, 18, 16, 14, and 12. And 4 years ago, I didn't even know what Young Living was. There's a wonderful office called Young Living Corporate in Spanish Fork, Utah. I live in New York, and I'm a homeschool mom. So no, I'm not a spokesman for Young Living, but I do willingly share the products because I love them and I love what they've done for my family. And even if I didn't even have a paycheck at all, if I wasn't a diamond, I still would share the products. I would still do it because there's something primal about walking into your mom's house and seeing the bright blue dish soap, right? You don't want your mom to get hurt either. And so when you start swapping some of that stuff out, I don't ever feel bad that I sold my mom a starter kit. Right? I feel glad when I walk into her home and I see Thieves sitting on her counter that she's not getting hurt, because it was those products that damaged me. It was the stuff I was breathing in, the stuff I was slathering on my skin. My gut lining was like, nope, I'm done, right? I'm done. And so, man, if that makes me a spokesperson, then I'll wear that badge with honor, because it's completely, totally changed everything, everything for me. So, all right, here we go. There you go, guys. I kicked the troll out of the group. Let me keep going here. So for every 3 101 classes that I taught, every 3, I allowed myself to teach a specialty class to pre-existing members. Right? So I go, okay, my heart's really oils of the Bible. That's what I want to teach. But I got to teach 3 101s because that's what leads to a wholesale membership. So I'll do 101, 101, 101, and oils of the Bible, right? 101, 101, 101, and ULA. Like the 4th class was my reward for putting the work in for the 101s, right? The Bible's class is my very, very, very favorite class. So I always cut my ratios at least 3 to 1 or 4 to 1. 75 to 80% of your time has got to be spent prospecting. It has to. And not to teaching to your pre-existing team if you want to stay in a pattern of growth. So if you look at how you're spending your time right now, and it's a lot of things that are not teaching, right? Maybe you're making pretty stickers for your bottle labels, or you're making mini kits that you're handing out to people and it doesn't lead to kit sales because you're giving away the starter kit when you're out there. Maybe you got a retail storefront where you're stocking all the oils in your house, your garage, and people coming by and buying them. That's great, but it does not build a downline. Right? You need to build the downline. So don't get distracted with teaching classes or doing other things that do not lead or point to one of the 4 starter kits, because that's what gives them a wholesale membership. That's where the longevity on your team is. Give your 101 classes any pretty title that you want and teach them in a way that resonates with you, because there's so many good ways of teaching the 101 script. And so whatever method that you're choosing, as long as you're passionate about it and you're funneling to either oils or savvy or Ningxia or Thieves, you're not doing anything wrong, right? Skip the bells and whistles, though, because the more bells and whistles that you've got, the harder it is for your business builders that are sitting in that class that aren't in your team yet to copy what you're doing. So that's why I don't put a couple $100 worth of food out. I'm not making peppermint vitality brownies and, photocopying things and putting them in folders and all that. I mean, they can eat when they get home. It's a 90-minute class. I don't do all that because I don't want my people that are sitting in the class that might be business builders to think that they have to go take their grocery budget and stock a bunch of food for their classes, right? Guys, I had $20 a week to live on when I started building my business. I could not go out and take that only money that we had for our savings account if there was an emergency and invested in peppermint vitality brownies, right? So if I had seen the people that were teaching classes around me have a whole bunch of food, I might not have built the business. You got to ask yourself who you're scaring away, all right? I mean, the person assigned me had no idea that I was going to go a diamond in 2 years. I had no idea I was going to go a diamond in 2 years. Didn't even plan on building the business really until I was between gold and platinum. I didn't get it. And so you got to ask yourself, are the actions that I'm doing going to lead to growth, and are they going to attract business builders to my team? So this is the pattern that you want to have: script, kit, human, repeat, right? Script, kit, human, repeat. And I provided you not just with one script, but with 2 scripts in the back of the book. It's the very first time that I've released the Thieves script. I've been teaching the Thieves script now for almost 5 years. So I was very excited to be able to release that one. And when Unstuck comes out, you guys are going to get Ningxia and Savvy also. So very excited. Stuff I've been training my team on now for quite a while. We just did a Ningxia challenge in January and had over 100,000 OGB growth on our team, with everybody going out and getting Ningxia and making it part of their daily routine and getting a walk-in and not doing sugar. It was amazing. So the Thieves script is just my gift to your builders, because they're going to be at a fork in the road with every person that they meet. That person is either going to get it or they're not going to get it. Okay? If they get it, then use the oil script. If they don't get it, then use the Thieves script, right? Because everybody has that place deep down in their heart where they know that there's poison under their kitchen cabinets, right? They know there is. And so they can swap it out and use Thieves and make it for $1.50 a bottle, a spray bottle. It's cheaper than what they're going to get even at the dollar store to clean their house with. It's a good choice. And start with Thieves if the door is not open to oils. It's okay. It's all right. That's why I put both scripts in, because it depends what kind of person you're talking to and if they're going to understand the purpose of the oils, right? I recommend when you're teaching, if that door is open, to be teaching the oils class, right? To be teaching the class with the premium starter kit with the 12 oils and the desert mist diffuser. Why? Well, that's the foundation of everything that we do. Like, there's 600 products. They're all infused with oil. Everything we do points back to essential oils. So that's kind of the premier class that I teach. And you're going to get trained on how to find the people for your class tomorrow night. Super excited about tomorrow night's training, as well as how to communicate the need for getting toxins out of their homes in a way that isn't salesy. I think that's the number one reason why people don't want to share. They don't want to come across as being a salesperson. That's not what we do. Guys, remember I told you earlier you'd feel relief if you walked into your mom's home and you saw Thieves sitting on the counter. You wouldn't think to yourself, man, I'm such a salesperson. I can't believe I have my poor mom go and buy that big expensive kit. The first thought when you walk into her house is not going to be that. It's going to be relief that she's not using that garbage that she was using and not getting hurt. You're protecting families. So you got to go back to that carnal feeling that you have after they have these products in their home. Get over the fear, rise over the fence of fear, and get to that primal carnal feeling, which is the protection of the people around you, even whether you know them well or not. You know, the reason that you do what you do is to help people. It's to carry Gary's mission of getting oils into every home in the world, because the oils are better than the ingredients we cannot pronounce under our sinks and cabinets. They're dangerous for us to be breathing in. All right. And so swapping some of those things out changes the way that you look at your home. Right? I'm a highly paid storyteller. Esther, that is the best job description I've ever seen. Ever. So I wanted you to see the purpose, and I wanted you to see the method first. It's not about sales. Okay? I think we say it's about sales because we're just really afraid. We're just scared. We're scared of talking to people we don't know. We're scared of talking to people that we do know and having them judge us for our really crazy, clean living lifestyle, right? I think that our motivations are rooted in fear. It's not really rooted in sales. We say sales, but I don't really think that that's what's going on. I think we're just a chicken, to be honest. I mean, I know I am. I'm afraid to talk to people that I don't know. And God brings those people to me like every single day. I have faith over fear. Exactly. If you can do that one weekly act of connecting with people, then you're going to have everything that you need to blow this up, because it's not about thousands of dollars in training or hundreds of hours of your time. It doesn't take 40 hours a week to do this. It takes a script and a kit and a human. And I gave you the script. It's in the back of the book. I taught that exact script 288 times. So if you think you're going to build this in 2 months and you're going to go diamond, in half a year, and, you're going to retire from your job and do all these super cool things, maybe the Lord does have all that awesome stuff for you, but I'll tell you, most diamonds do not do it that fast. The majority of diamonds, we got to roll up our sleeves. We got to get out there and we got to build this thing piece by piece by piece. I think there's this expectation of how quickly everything's going to go. Guys, it wasn't fast for me. It was 288 classes, right? How many classes have you taught? If you're silver, you got a team of 100 people. So say you average 3 kit sales per class. That's 30 classes you have to teach to build your silver, at least. I'm just picking random numbers, but that's about 30, 40 classes you got to teach. So even a silver ship is going to take a while. So if you want the freedom and you want the income and you want to be in the high end of that income disclosure guide, you got to get your butt out there and go share, because if you're not sharing, you're not going to see the results, right? That is the foundation of every single thing that we do. So, and how fast is it going to be for you? How quickly are you going to be able to rank up? Well, it depends on how consistent you are. It depends on your ability to connect and train from a place of humility and love and compassion. It depends if you can emotionally detach yourself from the sale of that kit and not wear every single no is a badge of failure on your face. It's not a badge of failure on your face. Everything about network marketing is emotional. Everything. You got to put those emotions in a box and focus on the next person. Right? If you're always focused on the next person, you don't have time to focus on the emotions and the negativity and the people that didn't come and how frustrated you are and who are you going to ask next. Man, don't even worry about who you're going to ask next. Open your front door and look outside. Somebody is out there that you can talk to about essential oils, right? If you live in a town, there are people in your town. Talk to them. If you go to a church, there's people in your church. Talk to the people in church. Start having an eye, start scouting the people that need a leg up. All right, the ones that are coughing in the back of the church pew, or the mom that's hobbling around that stubbed her toe. Go find those people that need what you have to offer, and then solve their problem. Right? Solve their problem. You're a problem solver. All right. A rank up happens brick by brick and piece by piece. Yep. One class at a time. And so the more often that you're getting that script in front of faces, the faster that you're going to rank. It's just mathematical certainty. I'm not over promising anything to you here. If you're not teaching, you're not going to rank. And if you're out there and you're putting the work in and rolling up your sleeves, you are going to rank. If you're doing the actions that lead to growth, you will see growth out of your business. So if you're sitting there and you're like, I just don't understand why I haven't hit star yet. I don't know what's going on. How many people have you talked to about oils this week? How many? Because if the answer is 0, then you're going to wait a while for this to happen, right? 1,000 no's before you get a yes. Sometimes the beginning of Unstuck, the new book that I get to release at convention, starts with the story of my sister who had 103 no-show classes. All right, 103 no-show classes. Crazy. 103. She's almost platinum, so I get to tell you her story this fall when we do Unstuck Bootcamp. So a year or two of consistent hustle could mean a completely different future for you if you get out there and you're serious and you commit to this. Not if you let a month go by and don't share with anybody and don't teach any classes. Is it really as simple as reading a script to people, showing them at the kit and getting the oils up their nose and then signing them up under me? Is that how this works? Yes. That's the action, all right? Rinsed and repeated over and over again without distractions. That's the action that got me to Diamond. If I look back over all the things that I did and the stuff that I didn't need to do, what led to growth for me and what didn't lead to growth for me, it wasn't all the pretty stuff that I did in my classes, and it wasn't the make and takes, and it wasn't all little bells and whistles and the frills and the frou-frous. It was sitting down with a human being, getting oils in their nose, finding their need, meeting their need, and signing them for a kit. That action consistently is what grew my team. So how you share is not as important as that you share. That's the important thing. Many people have been really successful reading the script online or using textable classes or training on Instagram or doing vendor events or carrying purple bags. We're going to talk about all of those things. There's a lot of ways of sharing, but it all comes down to that simple, basic system of connecting with people. And that's what I'm going to train you on inside out for the next, we got 13 days left together to go through this book. And then you're going to go out and you're going to practice it. You're going to practice it immediately and you're going to get results because this works. It absolutely works. So Young Living might feel like a really big commitment from an outside perspective. You might look at it and go, oh my gosh, 288 classes, my word. If I'm teaching one class a month, it's going to be 288 months. 288 divided by 12 is a very large number, so I don't even know how many years I'm looking at, before I'm able to dig out. Well, how do you dig out and build a business and juggle all the plates that you have to carry? Guys, if you're not building this alongside everything else that you're doing, then you're going to be doing everything else that you're doing for a really long time, right? You have to do these things side by side. And the nice thing is you don't really need to start this thing with the goal of going to the top. Don't look at the biggest goal out there. Don't look at Royal Crown Diamond. Look at Star. Look at Senior Star. Look at the thing that's directly in front of you. Your goals right now, whatever size they are absolutely perfect. They're going to change like the sand in the waves on the beach as you rank. So don't look at the ocean. Focus on the very next step, the very next place that you want to be. You don't get to Royal Crown Diamond by staring at a sea of endless to-do lists and how many hundreds of classes you have to teach, right? You get there with these small, consistent goals. Consistent. You block out the size of the journey from your mind and you focus on why you want this. And that reason is going to give you the drive to do the next thing. Polly says, don't you think that some of the wasted things we do are part of, let me slide this down, are part of learning to be comfortable talking to people about the oils. I'm not a red, I'm not a blue. It's really hard for me to walk up to somebody who's coughing and start talking about essential oils. Well, let me put it in a context maybe that might, maybe smooth it over a little bit for you. If you were standing in a building and you saw somebody get hurt, all right, say you saw somebody drop to the ground, would you stand there and you look around, you don't see anybody else around, would you stand there and watch them? Or would you walk over and would you try to help them? Would you call 911? Would you yell for help? Would you go try to do something for them? If they tripped and fell, would you try to help them back up again? Or would you just leave them on the floor because you're scared and you're nervous and you don't want to approach somebody because it's not somebody you know, right? Chances are you're going to go up to them, especially if you don't see anybody else running over. You're probably going to go over to that total stranger and say, hey, are you okay? Do you need something? Can I help you get up off the ground? Do you want me to call for some help? Are you having trouble breathing? Do you need me to call 911 for you? You're not going to just stand there and walk away, right? But that's what we do when we're sitting in a building and we hear somebody coughing up a lung and we've got a thief's cough drop in our pocket and we just turn around and walk away, right? That's the same action, all right? It's the same action as seeing somebody limping in front of you and you've got a little Coolazole pain cream in your backpack and you could easily go up and say, hey, do you mind if I put a little bit of this on your knee? I know you don't know me and it's kind of creepy, but I know what pain feels like and this is some stuff I've got that really helps. I promise you it's not a narcotic, it's just a topical cream, but I think maybe it's gonna help you. I think you're not gonna be hobbling around as much. I know it's really helped me, and I think this is the answer to what you've been looking for. That's just love. That's love. That is the central theme of everything that Gary believed in. It's the central theme of the Bible from Genesis all the way to Revelation is love, right? It's love. It's caring about the people around you enough to step up, even if it's scary for you, even if you're not a red and even if you're not a blue, to go up and just say, hey, I love you enough to come up and approach you and maybe I've got something that can help you. I love you enough to meet you in that place where you are, even though I'm really scared to come up to you and I don't know you very well and maybe you're creepy and you're gonna scare me, but I love you enough that I'm gonna make that decision without any thought of myself because I value you, right? That's what Gary lived for, right? Of wellness and abundance and purpose. And purpose comes when you're serving the people around you, not serving yourself. So I don't know if that helps you to process walking up to total strangers and putting things in their hands, but I would love to believe that if we saw a need, we would be bold enough to go up and do something about it, right? We would. So, all right. That reason is going to give you the drive to do the next thing. So the question is, do you want your oils for free? Maybe you're not even looking at Royal Crown Diamond right now. That's a big enough goal in itself. Do you want your closest friends and family on Thieves? We talked about this. Instead of those toxic cleaning products, that goal is enough in this moment. Do you want to be able to give generously and anonymously and not always be on the edge financially? What about leaving financial peace to your kids? Well, those goals are possible with Young Living because you can't outdream your business. But for now, you start with the next thing. And the next thing only. And the next thing is reading this book to the very last page. All right, that's the very next thing. So I'm going to give you guys a homework assignment. And your new builders that you're using this little book with, one of the cool things about this is it's game plan all wrapped up in one little space. It's a 120-page book. And so back to back, it's 60 pages. The book is in here. The workbook is built into this thing. There's no boot camp. I'm training you guys how to do it, but your people you're taking through the book don't have to do these videos. It's very simple. And it's all built in. So your worksheet's built right into the book. So if you open up to page 22 and you're following along, step one is to practice one of the two scripts in the back of this book. And I want you to go read it 5 times in the mirror. Check the boxes off below as you read it each time. You don't need to do it in one sitting. All right, so grab the 101 script and practice it 5 times. It's going to be amazing how much easier it is for you to teach when you've drilled it a couple times. You're not going to stumble over the words. And then go flip to the Thieves script. You guys haven't even seen that one yet. And go read that one through, 5 times and cross that one off. And then, all right, this is something brand new. And I'm actually writing a huge big blowout of this little half page for Unstuck tonight. I want you to jot down your personal story. We talked about this just a little bit, right? Your classes consist of 3 things: your personal story, the 101 script, which is how you duplicate everything, and then the bold close. Those 3 elements are part of every single class that I teach. So how do you tell your personal story? Have you ever actually just thought through the process of what you're trying to convey to the people that are in the room? So these are some of the questions that I answer when I put my personal story together. Who invited me to my first oils class? What was my journey? Did I get a kid right away? I told you guys my journey at the very beginning of this class. I told you my personal story without you even realizing it, right? I drew you right into the middle of my world. So did I get a kid right away? You guys already know my story 7 times. Azure had to ask me 7 times. Did I believe in oils? I told you I thought it was snake oil. I didn't think that the kit worked. I liked the Thieves Cleaner. That was it. What was my wow moment? What story got me with oils? It could be in your family, or it could be something that you witnessed, right? Are there any oils in the premium starter kit that got my attention, and why? Which oil was like, whoa, what is this, right? Why do I wholeheartedly believe in Young Living, right? Why do I wholeheartedly believe in Young Living? And so answer those questions, even if you just bullet point it out. If you need extra paper, you can write in the back of the book, but write down those questions on the lines, and that's how you craft your story. Right? That's how you craft your story. Are you for hire? You're so full of it. I can use a convincing person. That's wonderful, Nick. That's not a nice thing to say. So I'm going to block you. Sorry. Block Nick. There we go. Nick's gone. We got a lot of trollers tonight, guys. I'm sorry about that. So, this is how I open every single class that I teach, is just starting from that place of connecting with the people, saying, hey, this is my journey. I'm not perfect. No, I don't work for corporate, right? No, I'm not full of baloney. I'm just a mom, but I'm a mom that likes using Thieves instead of chemical cleaners. And I'm a mom that loves peppermint, right? And I'm a mom that loves lavender for my kids and their diffusers at night. And if that makes me a creepy, weird person, hey, I'm really glad that I'm using 1 ingredient things. And so I'm just going to start from that space and share why I'm so passionate about these things, right? I'm going to start from that place and share. And yeah, so that's how you do this thing. So I want you to think through what your personal story looks like. Your homework is to fill out this page. You got to practice. You got to practice those scripts and cross it off as you're practicing, the ones in the back. I want you to write out your personal story. And then tomorrow I'm going to give you a lot of homework, all right? And there's an oil for trolls, as Valor. I love you guys. I want you to read chapter 2 tomorrow, which is what my first class looked like. I'm going to walk you through from the beginning to end and exactly what it looked like in my class. And then we're also going to do chapter 3 tomorrow as well, which is how do I find people? Where do they come from, right? Where do they come from? Hey, let's not worry about the Nicks of this world, guys. Let's look forward, right? Let's look forward. And finding people is one of the reasons why you're doing this Ignite Bootcamp, right? It's one of the reasons why you guys are going to grab Unstuck, and we're going to do Unstuck together in the fall. It's because of this thing. I don't know. My town is saturated. I can't find anybody. It's okay if your page numbers are a little bit different than mine. The book content is the same, all right? We updated the cover of the book right before we released it because you guys asked me to. So I listened to you when you guys give me some really good suggestions. So, yeah. Do you want to see the Unstuck cover? Yeah, I didn't plan on showing you guys that. All right, you know what your homework is. Fill out the last page of chapter 1. I want you to read chapter 2 and 3 tomorrow. We're going to do 2 of them. All right, we're going to do 2 chapters tomorrow, so make sure you're ready for me. And I'm going to end this training tonight by showing you the cover of Unstuck, which nobody's seen yet. Okay, it's brand new. I'm sorry I'm talking so much about Unstuck. I can't help it. It's because it's in my head right now. It's like the thing that I'm writing. So I'm going to flip my camera around, and you guys tell me if you like this cover. I want you to give me a whole bunch of likes. All right, a whole bunch of likes. So here we go. I'm flipping it around. I just got this last night. Bam. There it is. It says Unstuck. We're going to have a beta version of it at convention, so it is all the text from the book, but it's not going to be pretty, and we haven't gone through all the grammar, so there's going to be typos and stuff like that in it. It takes months and months and months for a book to go through grammar, and we're not going to have all of that done yet, but the content will be intact for it. But it says Unstuck, how to talk to humans and get them to respond to you, right? That's the underlying purpose of everything that we do. And this is actually book 1 of 3 in the Game Plan trilogy. So after I released Game Plan and I went on tour in 45 cities, I felt really, really strongly when I'm talking to people that we needed to take a step back and focus on the art of the relationship and getting you to connect with the people around you. So for 2 years, I interviewed diamonds. I collected over 8,000 of your responses on how you connect with people. I talked with the highest leaders of in Young Living and asked them how they ranked, what they did to rank, what actions they did to rank. And it was about 80 different types of classes. And then I categorized those into 16 different types of classes. So do you want to see what's on the inside? All right, I'm gonna turn it to the back of the book now. I'm just gonna read this to you. Are you stuck in your home-based business? Have you tried sharing but it's not leading anywhere? Is your life an endless chain of no-show classes? It's time to get unstuck. So what are we going to cover? 15 different types of classes. These are groupings of classes to give you fresh ideas to share, leading sentences to start conversations with people that you do not know. What if you had a leading sentence that rolled off your tongue? Would that help you? Training to craft your personal story. We did a little tease of that in Ignite tonight, but I'm going to blow it up and Unstuck. How to lead with essential rewards in a compelling way that trains the lifestyle. 4 scripts. And with those 4 scripts come 4 professionally designed PowerPoints, 4 textable classes, 4 30-day fearless style challenges. All of it will be for free on my website. You'll be able to download it. It all matches the scripts in the back of the book. Tried and true mojo methods to pull yourself out of a rut. So if you haven't had a kit and a kit sale in a long time, you're just feeling really down on yourself, these are things that I know work. We've spent 2 years trying these things out on our team to see if we can get people to snap out of this just state of depression and frustration with their growth, and they have worked over and over and over and over again. Learn how to set up a business funnel so you can use Game Plan tools effectively. I'm going to train you on how to set up a funnel, and then training to get people to respond to you when you talk to them. So get your momentum back, find your unique way of sharing, and rinse and repeat to diamond. Get over the fear of talking to people you've never met and explode your business. So that is Unstuck. I'm so excited. And I get to finish writing this tonight. I got to do the appendixes tomorrow all day, but I get to write the conclusion of this book tonight. And so it's just so deeply on my heart. And you know who I dedicated it to? I dedicated it to every single one of you guys that has no show classes. Right? That's where my heart is on this. I'm so broken. I'm so broken for that place where you just can't connect with people and you can't get them to show up in your living room and you hand out samples and nobody shows up and no show after no show after no show. So this is a big book because it is every single piece of information that I have collected over the last 2 years, from diamonds, from silvers, from stars, from over 8,000 people. Okay, so I'm super excited to be able to release this, and it's all in simple Sarah style, right? It's in a very, very simple, easy to read, simple format, really well organized, and then loaded with tools and new ideas, fresh ideas to help get you off the ground. So yeah, that's Unstuck. And I can't wait to show it to you guys. I'm going to have it with me at Aroma Sharing. We don't actually release the book until the fall. So if you're at convention, come to Aroma Sharing, come snag it off the table. If you are not at convention, then we'll be releasing it after convention's over. All right? So I love you guys. Janice says, I need my upline to support me, like the one who signed me up. I get no help or support. Janice, you don't need help or support. I didn't even know my diamond. I had no idea. I saw her from a distance once. She's a wonderful woman. She's amazing. But she lived in New York, then she lived down in Florida, then she lived all the way in California. And I didn't have a lot of contact with her. That's a lot of pressure on somebody else who's trying to build their organization. You need a script, you need a kit, you need a human. Right? Script, kit, human. Doesn't matter where your upline lives. You can get out there and you can blow this thing up just by being you. right? And talking to those people that are in your path. So thank you for the prayers for focus. Can I just say thank you to every single one of you that's blessed me, that's encouraged me. People have written me saying that the Holy Spirit's holding my arms up tonight, that I've been anointed to write this book. You've prayed verses over me. You've just given me the right words to speak in those moments where the room is spinning and I'm really tired. I've gone now in 20 minutes, a full 48 hours without sleeping. And I'm so grateful for you. I don't know without your prayers that I would have been able to do this week. And our deadline is tonight. It's midnight, or we don't make the printing in time. So thank you. Thank you for pouring into me. I try not to ask too much of you guys, but your prayers and your comments on my posts to encourage me have meant the world to me this week. They just meant the world to me. And, we've had a lot of spiritual attack things happen today. It always does when you're trying to do something really good for the Lord and something that's going to bless a lot of people. You're under attack, under attack, under attack. But you know what? I know that the God of all creation, the God of angel armies, has got me in his hand, and he's got you in his hand, right? And we're walking this together, guys. We're just building different legs, right? Maybe you're building your 2 legs for executive right now, and I'm building my leg for crown. We're doing the exact same action. We're out there teaching classes, talking to people, loving on them, and standing over our fear, right? So, all right, let's go kill it together. And tomorrow we're going to do 2 chapters, not 1. Girl, I wish I could do so much more than pray for you. Mendy, you just blessed me just by even saying that. So thank you. You are the best ever. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to be able to walk through the end of Unstuck and have you guys here to talk to every single night, because you really have just been a huge strength for me. So, okay, I'm not going to cry. I'm going to end this without any tears. That means I've made it through 2 boot camp videos without crying. I usually cry in every single video. I get very emotional on the journey that the Lord has brought us through. But I want you to know that you are set apart, right? That you are chosen, that you are precious, that you are special, and that you can do what you put your mind to. And it doesn't mean I'm promising things to you. It means that you're capable of getting it, right? You're capable of the walk. So I love you guys, and I'll see you for Ignite tomorrow night, 8:30, same bat time, same bat channel. Got an Ingsha because I'm about to go find some. I'll see you in 24 hours. Bye, guys.